We were able to get the price down to a place where we felt really comfortable to pay that. And we put down a down payment of $100,000, which meant that my half would be $50K. So I needed to go figure out where to find that. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are talking all things money. I have so much to update you guys on, especially with my home buying process, as well as Black Friday shopping and just what my budget is going to look like going forward. So if you want to see that, then just keep on watching. If you're new here and this is the first video you're watching of mine, hi, hello, my name is Raisa. I talk all things personal finances. And if you're not new, hello and welcome back. Let's dive into this money chat. So I've done a couple of these in the last couple months, which I will link here as well as down below. And I just want to do a unfiltered, raw kind of money chat with you guys. And I'm going to start calling this series my money diaries, because that's what it is. It's basically everything that I would put in my diary, but this is just in a video version. So we are gonna get real and raw and talk all things money. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you pop them down below. So we're going to talk about a couple topics in this video that are relevant for me right now in terms of money. If you've been following along my monthly money updates, you might know that we purchased a condo here in Vancouver, BC. So this is now official. I know in that video, I think I mentioned that things were still a bit up in the air, but we had made an offer on a condo. But now I'm filming in December. Everything has been signed. All of the transfers have happened, and I am now officially a homeowner. I purchased a condo with my partner, and it's obviously a really big milestone, so we're very, very happy with it. So backing up a little bit, if you didn't know this story, the reason why we ended up buying a condo was because we were getting kicked out of the place that we were renting. Our landlord was looking to sell their place, and they gave us a bit of a heads up so that we could start looking for another rental. When we were looking at the rental market, it was really crazy. Everything has skyrocketed in price since the pandemic, and it was something like $1,000 more than we currently pay now for something that isn't as big, isn't as nice, isn't as central. Essentially, we would have to downgrade everything and pay more, which just didn't make sense to us. For your reference, we have been living in this place for around 5 years, and we paid around $2,100. I split that in half with my partner, and it could only increase about 2% because we are rent controlled, which is great. So it hasn't really increased because we have been living here for many years. But once you start looking for another place, that's when you'll kind of feel the inflation in price. I'd say that that was like a really big shock to us, and it was something that we didn't want to do because it was essentially just a downgrade for something that is $1,000 more. So because of that situation, we started to look at the housing market to actually buy something. As we were just looking into our finances to see how much of a down payment we could put in, there was a potential. And it meant that we would have to negotiate quite a bit and make sure that the interest rates lined up in terms of our mortgage. So a lot of negotiation happened in the middle of that. I would say that we have a really great real estate agent. If you are in the Vancouver area and are looking for a recommendation, let me know, because I have a really great real estate agent. We were able to get the price down to a place where we felt really comfortable to pay that. When we were looking at the market, my partner and I were saying, if we can get it down to this price, we could afford it. And then we were also obviously watching the interest rate market go up and down. It was a little bit crazy whether you go variable or fixed. So that was another consideration. But we negotiated the price down to that number that we were thinking, and we were also able to get the down payment that we wanted, which I will touch on in a little bit as well. So that's kind of how it all came about. Essentially, we were happy to rent, but because the rental market was really crazy, it really forced us to look into buying. And overall, I think that this was the right decision for us at this time, and we're very, very happy with the decision. And we put down a down payment of $100,000, which meant that my half would be $50K. So I needed to go figure out where to find that. I'm only going to speak on my finances because I want to respect my partner's privacy, but essentially I looked into all the possible options. I did have an RRSP, and I had also opened up an FHSA. The FHSA is your first home savings account that was very recently introduced by the Canadian government. So you are able to put in up to $40,000 in there, and you can max out up to $8,000 $8,000 every single year. Since this is the first year that this is introduced, I was able to put in $8,000 this year to use for my first home savings account. For my RRSP, I'm able to take out up to $35,000 from that account and put it towards my first home. The only caveat is that I would have to pay that back, I think, within 15 years. I already had the $35K in my RRSPs, and I also had the $8,000 in my FHSA, which totaled up to $43,000, and that left me with $7,000 that I needed to go find somewhere else. So I did have some savings in my tax-free savings account that was invested that I knew I could take from there as well. So that's kind of how I built up my $50,000 down payment for my half. But it doesn't stop there, because there's obviously little things. I wouldn't call them hidden costs, because I was very diligent about asking my real estate agent what the closing costs are. So my real estate agent said it would be about 1.5 to 5% of the total cost of the place that would equal your closing costs. And just to make sure that we had that, we didn't have to pay the real estate agent, because they get paid, I think, with the seller. Seller will actually pay both the real estate agent, so we didn't have to pay for that. The mortgage broker that we use, we also didn't have to pay for, because they get paid through commission through the bank. And the only thing we really had to pay for was all of the legal fees. So we had to get a lawyer and a notary to make sure everything gets passed through, okay? So we didn't have to pay for that, and just like little things like property transfer tax and all of that. So that came up to around $12,000. I felt really good about having the money to ultimately pay for something like this, and I didn't have to drain my savings, which is great. So yeah, I just feel like everything had lined up. Obviously, this is still a lot of money, and there's a big chunk that was taken out of my savings account, but I think that the equity that we build by owning this place is ultimately going to be worth it. So I think that this was the right decision for us at this time. So that is everything in terms of like home buying and real estate. It's exciting and obviously all very new. So I learned a lot during this process, and ultimately I'm very happy with how we landed in terms of our interest rate and the price that we got the condo for. The next topic I wanted to talk to you guys about is Black Friday. Obviously, it has been a couple weeks since Black Friday. I made a whole Black Friday wish list. I will link it over here if you haven't seen it. And I just wanted to come into that week really prepared and to avoid impulse spending and impulse buying. I think I did a pretty good job. I did spend a lot more than what I thought I would, but I was very mindful of what I'm spending, especially because I did just have a really big financial milestone in terms of buying the place. So I wanted to make sure that I really toned it down in terms of Black Friday shopping. It was things that were either on that wish list or gifts for friends, gifts for family. So I feel really good about Black Friday shopping. I think I'm going to do a Black Friday haul to show you guys everything that I purchased, but I'm just waiting for things to come in the mail, but I will film that video once I have everything. As you may have noticed, I didn't film my December monthly financial reset just because my finances are really all over the place at this time. There's obviously transitional things that we have to do, from rent to mortgage and all of the fees that we now have to pay as homeowners. So I am still just trying to figure all of this out, and I think it would have just been really confusing for you guys. If I'm confused, I know you guys would be confused. So I am not going to do that video this month. So in lieu of that video, I'm making this video to just kind of update you guys on like the things that are happening. I do think that I'm going to bring it back for January. January is always the best time to do a bit of a reset. So I'm going to be bringing you guys along and showing you all of my finances. I think those are all of the really big updates in terms of my finances. If you guys have any questions or if you think that I missed anything, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.